If you have no one to leave your estate to, then by the end of this video, you'll have a better idea of what can happen if you don't make a plan. For the best estate planning, probate, and trust administration videos, subscribe to my channel and hit the like button, the one like this, and the bell to be notified when I post a new video every Tuesday. In the 1960s, something like 72% of all Americans were married. By the census of 2017, over 110 million Americans were single, which is over 42% of the population. And guys, I'm one of them. The single population is also healthier and living longer than ever, which means you need to have an estate plan. Another surprising stat is that 63% of today's single population has never been married. The question then is, what does this mean for estate planning if you are single, like me? It means you better have a plan in place for not only your assets, but for your well-being in the event you get sick or become incapacitated. Over the last 3 years, we have seen a marked increase in the number of single-person estate plans and single-person probates. In other words, they weren't married. While it's a great thing that more and more single people are seeing the value of estate planning, I can tell you that most of the single-person probates we have administered over the last few years are for folks who did zero, none, nilch. They didn't do any estate planning. And I think this has been the attitude for a long time for a lot of people, not just single people. People tell me all the time that they don't care what happens because, well, they'll be gone. I understand that feeling, but what they fail to consider is what happens if they get ill and they have no plan in place, or what really happens to their assets if they have no plan in place. In the last few years, we have had some pretty significant estates for single people who had done absolutely zero estate planning. All of them were retired at the time of their passing and had paid off their house, their cars, and had zero debt, which is incredible. They had average jobs, most of them, but since they were single, they saved a lot of money and none spent very much of that money. Mid-income folks with millions of dollars in their bank accounts. A couple of them had living brothers and sisters who ended up inheriting their money, but a few of them had no living parents, no grandparents, no nieces, no nephews, no aunts, and no uncles. So in those cases, we had to look to their cousins and the children of their cousins. We literally had to hire a private investigator to find heirs in one of them. One probate in particular had over 20 cousins. 20 cousins, guys. This was truly one of those situations like you see in the movies where a long-lost relative inherits thousands of dollars from someone that they didn't even know existed. In that particular probate with the 20 cousins, only 2 of them had actually grown up and knew the person who had passed away. Can you believe that? None of the other heirs had even heard of this long-lost aunt due to a decades-old feud and family living thousands and thousands of miles away from each other. They didn't know that the other ones even existed. In that probate, each of the cousins received around $15,000, if I remember correctly. Now, I really do not think this person, this lady, would have wanted her estate to be split up into 20 shares. But that's what happened because she did not have a plan in place. If she had thought about it, then I truly believe, she would have probably wanted those 2 cousins that she grew up with to inherit her estate. She was also a frequent volunteer at a local charity, so maybe she would have wanted the charity to have a share of her estate. But we don't know because she did not have a plan in place. With just a little planning, her estate could have been split 3 ways between her 2 cousins that she grew up with and the charity that she volunteered at. Imagine how much good $100,000 would have done for that charity and for the 2 cousins that she grew up with. Instead, it was split 20 plus different ways. And guys, it's just not the money and assets that a single person has to think about. What I believe is even more important, and you've heard me say this before, is what happens when they are sick or incapacitated. That's a big deal. A huge part of proper estate planning is about making decisions ahead of time for what you want to happen if you are sick and in the hospital. This is especially true nowadays, and especially true for a single person that does not have a spouse to rely on. We all need to have a plan that states if you are incapacitated, then Sally is in charge of all my finances, and Enrique is in charge of all my medical decisions. Without this plan, then someone is going to have to go to the courthouse downtown and get a court-ordered guardianship over you. I always say we're entrepreneurs of our own lives, and someone needs to take over as CEO of You Incorporated if you can't make decisions due to being incapacitated. I don't have to tell you also that going to court is expensive, and guardianship proceedings are no different. It's expensive. It really does not matter if you are married or single. If you fail to plan, then you are planning to fail. Your well-being will be left to the guardianship courts, and your estate will be left to the laws of intestate succession and the probate courts. I know this is a lot to think about, so that is why we put together our free guide on estate planning. I'll put a link below in the description and again in the comment section. Click on the link below to get a copy of our free estate planning guide that our clients use every day to get started in the right direction. And to up your estate plan game even more, check out this video up here and this video up here. As always, if you like this video, please hit that like button and be sure to smash that subscribe button and share it with your friends, guys. You don't know how much it helps when you share our videos. We really appreciate it. Have a great day, and as always, have an awesome week. Thanks for watching.